Hey everyone, welcome to episode 121, December 8th, I believe, 2017, I believe. Whoa, what a huge rush of folks coming in really quick. Share where you're from. Welcome Uman, Alexandra, welcome Saeed Khan. I really love our international community. Welcome, Jacqueline. I haven't seen you in too long. We had an amazing gathering, a satsang last night. That was really powerful. And by the way, it's snowing. It's snowing. Look. Can you see that? It's snowing outside. Our first snow of the year. Very exciting. It's not snowing in Fort Lauderdale, is it? So yeah, we had a beautiful gathering last night, opening to the unified resonant field, also known as oneness, also known as unity consciousness, also known as love, also known as the here and now. New York City, welcome. We have some folks visiting here from New York City right now, the Upper West Side of Manhattan, in the house here. What else has been happening? Had some community yoga this morning, self-created yoga, which also involved toning and dancing and meditating. Welcome, Susie. Hola, ¿cómo estás en Mexico? Thank you for being here. Welcome, Lori. So yeah, we had this energy this morning, and then we had some oatmeal together and some breakfast, and it just really reminds me of the let me read this comment quickly. The California fires. Some of my friends are home, chanting for them. Wahe Guru. Yes, definitely sending prayers out and loving, healing energy to all the folks in Southern California that are in the midst of the fires right now, for sure. Which also ties into the sense of community, right? So it was really feeling into the value of community. You know, the how community on the relative level of this world of a human being is what brings us the greatest sense of fulfillment, and well-being, and how much in the Western world and the Western culture we've lost that sense of community, and how much we long for it to the point we don't even, it's like so innate in us, but it feels so distant and so far removed that we don't even know where to go, where to look, what to do, how to rediscover, reignite, kind of like a rebirth to this sense of community that's so inherent inside us. And there's this incredible sense of loneliness and isolation in the Western world and Western culture. Sense of people being surrounded by things, being surrounded by material objects, instead of other open-hearted, open-minded, present human beings. people thinking about the future as opposed to being present with the people in their lives right now. And when you start to tap into the sense of community and you start to connect with other people that are like-hearted, not like-minded, but like-hearted, that also have a shared sense, a shared intention of creating community and communion, first and foremost within themselves, within their own hearts, and integrating all the aspects of themselves, all the parts of themselves, and then with others. That's where the magic and the miracles arise. That's where you wake up and it's like, oh, we're doing yoga and we're going to dance and we're going to tone and we're going to meditate and we're going to share jokes and we're going to share food and we're going to talk about stories and dreams and visions. You know, we're going to share our lives and we're going to co-create together. What are we going to co-create together? Whatever we want, you know. Whatever's alive, whatever's vital, whatever's filled with passion and inspiration. So we've lost the sense of that, and it just becomes about like work and 9 to 5 and get my paycheck on Friday and keeping up with the Joneses and, you know, checking your status next to someone else's status. And now it's literally checking your status on Facebook or Instagram and seeing what other people are doing and if what they're doing is better or worse than what you're doing. And we've lost the sense of like true depth of community, which is what we long for. Bonjour, Flore. Thank you for being here in France. So the question is, how do we create community? How do we create community? It's a question that I've explored deeply in my life, and I have some answers to share with you. And feel free to ask any questions or comments at any time. I really appreciate the interactive sharing here, as we are a community here as well. So community is like disparate objects or disparate individuals coming together in a unified sense of harmony with a shared intention and shared co-creation. So the first way, and the most essential way, and really the only way to bring that into being is to come into communion within yourself. To come in communion within yourself. To be at peace with yourself, to be in love with yourself, to be free within yourself, and to be empowered within yourself. Thank you, Af Zarish. I agree with that. Thank you for that comment. So being at peace in yourself, being at love with yourself, being free in yourself, being empowered in yourself being in love with all the parts of yourself, being at peace with all the parts of yourself. How do you become into a state of love with all the parts of yourself, into a state of peace with all the parts of yourself? You enter into a state of presence, being with what's here and being at peace with what's here as it arises, being in love with what's here as it arises. And to be at peace with what's here as it arises, and to be in love with what's here as it arises, sets you free and opens up this depth of empowerment within oneself. So it's what I call being in an unconditional relationship with the moment. Being in an unconditional relationship with the moment. So this moment is always our teacher. This moment is always our teacher. And this moment's always changing, always moving, always shifting, always something different. It keeps changing into something different. So whatever's arising, can you be at peace with this? Can you be in love with this? Whatever's arising, can you be in peace with this? Can you be in love with this? And if you can be at peace with this and in love with this, that's all that's required to be wholly, fully, and completely in love with yourself. And to be wholly, fully, and completely at peace with yourself, and to be wholly, fully, and completely free within yourself. Because this is all there is. This is all there is. This is you right now. This is the emotion that's arising. This is the feeling that's arising. These are the thoughts that are arising. These are the experiences that are arising. Welcome to everybody in Iraq. I'm happy to give advice to anyone. Share your questions or comments wherever you are in the world, and we'll see what comes through in the moment. So to be at peace with this moment right now, to be in love with this moment right now, is to be at peace with yourself, because where else would you be? To be in love with yourself, because where else would you be? Now. And then there's a vibrational frequency with a sense of purpose and intention. It's like an attractor field that attracts others of like vibration, of a like-hearted intention towards you and you towards them. And this is how community begins to form. So this is what the retreats that I do are based in, which there's one coming up New Year's, for New Year's retreat in Florida. You can check the link at the bottom to sign up for that. In the community that I live in here in Asheville, North Carolina, specifically West Asheville, North Carolina, there's a sense of community that's here. There's a sense of a community that values community, right? So you have this attention within yourself. You come into the moment to be able to peace with the moment, in love with the moment. Then you're able to love yourself, being at peace with yourself. Put yourself in the right circumstance. And then there's this vibrational frequency that magnetically draws people of like heart, and consciousness towards each other. All of us that are here right now, all of us here that are together right now, that are listening to this, that are tuning into this, whether it's in this moment right now or it's at a later moment when it's archived, all of us, every single one of us, is being drawn in this magnetic-like frequency towards each other. That's why we're here right now together. What are the features, Anna Kazmi says, what are those features by which a man can attain extreme satisfaction of his mind and flee future insecurities? That's a fun question. The most interesting thing is that security does not come through the mind. It will never come through the mind. It never has come through the mind, and it never will come through the mind. There's no security in the mind. The mind is always changing, always moving, always shifting. The circumstances around us are always moving, always shifting, always changing. So there's no security in the mind. So the only way to discover security is to recognize and realize yourself as that which transcends the mind. That which is not contained by the mind. There's no security in the mind. There's no security in this world. There's no security in any other person. There's no security in your wife. There's no security in your husband. There's no security in your children. There's no security in your job. There's no security in how much money you have. There's no security in your house. Take the fires in California, for example. There's no security in anything of this world. There's relative security, but there's no sense of complete security. We know, if we're honest with ourselves, that anything that's here could not be here in a moment. Right? So the sense of security can only come by recognizing, realizing the essence of yourself, which is not of the world of time and space, which is not something that's temporal, which doesn't come or go, that which is unchanging. What's been called spiritual, but it doesn't need to be called spiritual. It doesn't need to be called anything. It's just resting into the truth of who you are, resting in the truth of who and what you truly are. There's no practice you need to do to get there. You don't need to meditate. You don't need to do yoga. You don't need to talk to anybody important. You don't need to wear any kind of particular funny clothes. You don't need to eat any kind of food. There's no condition to realize who you are. If there was any condition to realize who you are, then that wouldn't be who you are. To realize who you are, there's no condition, there's no strategy, there's no effort, there's no struggle, there's no way to get there, there's no way to not get there, there's no way to find it, there's no way to lose it. The only thing we can lose is awareness of who we really are. And it's easy to lose awareness of who we really are because there's so many things to be distracted by that are so alluring, Buddha called it the wheel of samsara. So there's so many things that we can just get attached and identified to and lose the sense of who we really are. But when we realize who we really are and we rest in who we really are, then there's the sense of peace, freedom, love, empowerment, and security, the only true security. recognizing this part of yourself that doesn't come or go, this essence of yourself, this infinite essence of yourself that doesn't come or go, doesn't appear or disappear. That is not being born or dying, that transcends birth and death. Transcends birth and death of the physical body, but also transcends birth and death of each moment, because every moment is a birth and a death. This moment's being born, now it's dying. This moment's being born, now it's dying. This moment's being born, now it's dying. So you can really then like really appreciate with immense gratitude the birth and death of each moment, while recognizing and realizing that the essence of who you are is unaffected by the movement of time and space. So this is the great spiritual liberation that all the different traditions and cultures and great awakened beings have pointed at throughout space and time. And it looks on the surface like, initially when you go into it, like, oh, everybody's talking about something different. Everybody's got a different point of view, a different perspective. When you go deeper into it, everybody's actually talking about the same thing. There's a great coherency in what's being pointed at. They're just using different words and different language and coming from a different culture and a different time and a different place. But the truth is the truth. The absolute truth is the absolute truth that always has been and always will be. So to create a sense of community that's grounded in this infinite essence of who and what we truly are, which is the deepest sense of intimacy, the deepest sense of authenticity, deepest sense of freedom and empowerment, that's the next level, right? A phrase we use sometimes is interdependence. So we're individual, there's individual freedom, and there's a sense of communion at the same time. And then there's this tremendous sense of creativity and purpose that emerges. So there's this paradox of nothing needs to be done, nothing needs to happen, everything is beautiful as it is, everything is magical as it is, everything is miraculous exactly as it is. And there's this immense sense of creative energy that wants to flow through into this world, which brings a tremendous sense of purpose. But the creative energy, the joy of the creative energy, is in the energy of creativity itself, not in the creation. The energy, the joy, the fulfillment is in being in the energy of creativity itself, moment by moment by moment, not in the ultimate creation, or not in the expectation of I'll be happier once this is created. That's when we get caught in illusion. That's when we get caught into the sense of attachment and identification with an image of ourself that's going to be enhanced at some point in the future. And it's fine to play that game, it's just not true. So if you think it's true, you're going to suffer when you are rudely awakened, right? But if you realize that it's not true, it's just a game, it's okay to play the game, resting in the truth of realizing who you really are. Hey, Chris. If you want to delve in deeper, I have 2 books, The Big Glow, The Wow of the Now. There's links for all this at the bottom. There's a retreat I said coming up. There's a event here in Asheville Thursday night, a satsang. There is personal sessions I do with people from all over, all different parts of the world, online. That's all I can think of right now. There's an inspirational letter that I shared by email. There's a lot of different ways to plug in deeper, and it's a great gift and a blessing to share this moment with all of you. I've been coming on, as I said I would, around 12 p.m. Eastern. Not every day, but many days. And it's great. It's great to be sharing a space together. It's great to be growing the sense of community with all of you around the world together and sharing this presence together. I think probably Monday next week. This will be a different time, 3 p.m. I'm just going to confirm this today, but 3 p.m. Eastern, my time. I'm going to have a guest on. His name is Robin Weinstein. We're going to be talking about the Bitcoin revolution and the revolution in abundance consciousness and ways to free yourself from scarcity consciousness and open up to this revolution in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and how it relates to the awakening of consciousness that I feel happening, and how it relates to the world changing and evolving to a way that's aligned with these truths that we're talking about today. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be fun. And thank you all so much for being here. See you in the next now.